How to write an inequality to represent the given graph. Step 1. Find the boundary line. The boundary line is simply the line that separates the coordinate plane into two half planes. The method we would use will be the same as looking for a linear equation. So if you forgot how to write a linear equation, you have to review 8.6. Now, for this boundary line here, I am going to identify two simple points, 0, 0, and 1, negative 1. Now, with these 2 points, I can find the slope using the slope formula. So the slope will be just negative 1. I also know my y-intercept is 0. With these two pieces of information, I can write a linear equation. Or to be more specific, I am looking for the boundary line. So my boundary line here will be y equals to negative x. Step 2. Write the inequality. I'm going to take this boundary line down here, and I either have to change it to y greater than x, negative x, or y less than negative x. I can only have these two options because this is a dotted line. I'm going to use negative 1, 0 to test my point. Try to look for a point that's not on the boundary line to do the test. So now I'm going to sub in negative 1 for x and 0 for y. And obviously this does not make any sense. So this is not the inequality. And let's try the other one. So 0 for y, negative 1 for the other one, and this makes sense. So your answer is y less than negative x. Okay, let's do the one on the bottom. This one is a little easier. Let's find out what our boundary line is. Step 1. This is negative 3, so it should be y equals negative 3. And step 2, I need to find out my inequality. And because this is a solid line, I only have two choices. It's either greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So the answer obviously has to be y is less than or equal to -3 because the bottom is shaded. Now let's do this one. I'm going to put a star by it. It's a little bit more challenging. Again, I want to find my boundary line. I'm going to choose two simple points to work with, the x and y intercepts, 1, 0, and 0, -1. I'm going to find out what my slope is. -1 over -1, so it's just +1. And my y-intercept happens to be this point. This is your y-intercept. -1. I'm going to use the slope-intercept form to write my boundary line. So my boundary line will be y equals x minus 1. Now, the inequality could be either greater than or equal to or less than or equal to because the boundary line is solid. I'm going to transfer this information over here. Draw a line down the middle to separate these two options. And we need to test the point. Again, I'm going to use 0, 0 because it's easier to work with. All right, test 0, 0. 0, 0 minus 1. Let's see if it makes sense. And I believe it does. And that makes sense. And obviously, this probably most likely will not make any sense. And -1 can't be bigger than 0, so this cannot be it. So your answer has to be y greater than or equal to x minus 1. And that's how you write an inequality when you're given a graph.